Nobody is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not the woman you love. When life breaks you down, and it will, the only person who can pull you back up is the man staring at you in the mirror. And here is the hardest truth most men never hear. The breaking is not the problem. The breaking is the point. This is why men who suffer in silence come out stronger. And today, we break down exactly how that happens. Reason 1. Silence forces you to face yourself. When a man is in pain and he fills that silence with noise, phone, alcohol, distractions, complaints, he never actually meets the problem. He runs from it. But the man who sits with his pain, who lets it exist without trying to escape it, who faces it in the quiet of 3 a.m. when nobody is watching, that man learns something about himself that comfort never could have taught him. He learns where his edges are, and then he learns how to push past them. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." You do not build a strong body by avoiding weight. You build it by putting weight on your back and walking anyway. The mind is no different. Reason 2. Suffering in silence builds a discipline nobody can take from you. When you perform your pain for an audience, when you post about it, talk about it constantly, make it the center of your identity, you get something in return. Sympathy, attention, validation. And that trade feels good. But it costs you something enormous. It costs you the growth that only comes from processing pain privately. Because when nobody is watching, when there is no audience to perform for, you have to decide what you actually are made of. The man who gets up at 5 a.m. not because anyone will see it. The man who keeps his standard when everything is falling apart. The man who trains, builds, works in the middle of his own private war. That man develops something that cannot be given and cannot be faked. Unshakable self-respect. Reason 3. Your lowest moment is building your foundation. Every man who has ever built something real has a story they don't talk about. A season where everything collapsed. A period of darkness that felt like it would never end. And they did not broadcast it. They did not perform it. They moved through it, quietly, privately, one day at a time. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire in the world. He faced war, disease, betrayal, and the death of his children. And he wrote his pain in a private journal never meant to be seen by anyone. Not to gain sympathy, not to be admired for his suffering, but to process it, to understand it, to refuse to be destroyed by it. That journal became Meditations, one of the most powerful books ever written. Your private suffering is building something too, you just cannot see it yet. Reason 4. The world respects the man who endures. Nobody tells you this, but people can feel it. They can feel the difference between a man who has been through something real and come out the other side, and a man who has never been tested. There is a weight to a man who has suffered and survived, a stillness, a depth. He does not need to announce what he has been through. His presence announces it for him. That is not something you can manufacture. It is not something you can buy or fake or shortcut. It is forged. In private, in pain, in silence. Epictetus was born a slave. He had no power over his circumstances, no control over what was done to him, and yet he became one of the most powerful philosophers in human history. Not because life was easy, because he refused to let his suffering be wasted. Reason 5. Silence protects your healing. When you expose your wounds too early, when you share your pain before you have processed it, you invite opinions, advice, and judgment into a space that needs quiet. Other people's words, even well-meaning ones, can interrupt the very process that is making you stronger. There is a reason the most powerful transformations happen in private. The caterpillar does not transform in public, it seals itself away. It goes through a process that looks like destruction from the outside, and then it emerges as something that could not have existed without the darkness. Your silence is not weakness, it is protection. It is the wall around your becoming. Reason 6. On the other side of suffering is a version of you that cannot be broken. Every time you endure something you thought you could not endure, you expand. Your threshold for pain grows. Your tolerance for uncertainty grows. Your trust in yourself grows. And slowly, without realizing it, you become the man that other men look at and wonder how he stays so calm, how he stays so grounded, how nothing seems to shake him. They do not know what you went through to become that man. They do not need to. The goal was never their understanding. The goal was your transformation. Suffer if you must, struggle if you must, but do it with purpose. Do it with dignity. Do it in the quiet knowledge that every single day you endure, you are becoming someone that the version of you from 5 years ago could not have imagined. That is the Stoic way. Not the absence of pain, but the refusal to be destroyed by it. If this found you at the right moment, share it with a man who is fighting a battle nobody knows about. The mirror doesn't lie, it only shows what's already there.